Welcome back. Well, let's head straight to the markets now. So much to unpack with earnings piling in. That's for listed stocks right here in Nigeria and other global markets that we track. We're having John McQuarrie with the details now. What's playing out? Great to have you.
Laddie, I saw you looking forward, thinking I was still at the NGX.
Yeah.
Just to inform you, I'm back
here.
in the studio.
Yeah, you're back.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
All right, Laddie. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the market segment of Business Incorporated. And of course, we start from Nigeria, where we've seen a recovery from the red close that we had at the NGX yesterday. So now for intraday, we saw that the all share is back, again 0.10% intraday to hit 104,000. We seem to be hovering between 102,000 and 104,000. I look forward to the day when we'll have maybe 110. So we'll be safely out of the 100 lower part. So it's 0.10% intraday at 104,063.53. For Johannesburg, it's 84,874.75. Also in the green at this time. We'll go to Egypt, where the close of yesterday deeply positive that we see 0.98% in the green, 29,936.84. Nairobi for Tuesday's close. So they're still, I was just thinking, when are they going to leave the 132 level? 132.28 is what we see at the close of Tuesday's trade. 0.13% there. So just before we leave Africa, let's settle on Nigeria and see what's happening on the floor. Well, I don't know if we should say on the floor of the exchange anymore. It's now more virtual activities that we have. We have Richard Akimola doing is equity trader with CSL Stockbrokers. Hi, Richard. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on your show this afternoon.
Great. So what's going on trading now? We saw more results. Aradel has such an impressive result. But, you know, when I was talking about the impressive results coming, somebody drew my attention to the fact that a lot of companies recorded losses last year. So even if, the previous year, so even if they do have 2024 full year looking impressive, they are yet to offset the losses. But we see, or rather, just tell us how investors are reacting to the results we have seen so far.
Okay. Thank you once again. As you've rightly mentioned, we are in the earnings season, and we continue to see numbers coming in from different listed entities. As we mentioned, we've seen Aradel number coming into the market, and a closer look at the figures, right, it shows that it's a very impressive result, right? We saw the revenue up about 163%, and profit after tax was up by about 361%. EPS about 57 naira, 57.03 naira. And I think this is an impressive result, and we've seen the market reacting positively to that result. Currently, as I'm talking to you, Aradel is topping the gainers chart. It's up by about 10%. Trading around 594 naira at the moment.
So with this, do you see, because yesterday we saw, I think all of the counters were in the red except for oil and gas, and it was Aradel. Do we see that happening again, or do we see especially banking recovering from the fall of about more than 1%, I believe, at the close of yesterday?
The outlook for the rest of the day should be like a positive one. Currently, as you mentioned, the market is up by about 60 basis points. And speaking to the banking index, right, the banking index is up too. We saw Stanbic actually supporting that. The banking index is up about 64 basis points. We saw currently Stanbic is up by about 9.9%. As you know that their rights issue is ongoing, and I believe investors are going to lean towards the banking names, because we are expecting their numbers to come into the market any moment from now. And looking at their Q3 numbers, most of the banking names, we saw strong numbers in their Q3, and we believe that they are going to build on that. And we didn't expect nothing more than a very good result from them, and even a very fantastic dividend by the time the results are out.
All right, so it does seem like investors are moved by the results that are being released.
Yeah, so at this moment, right, we currently what investors are after is, we're expecting year-end result, and we know especially those dividend-paying names, right, that is going to shape the market going forward. Even though, if you look at the fixed income side, right, we saw that yield are very elevated, which is supposed to be like a disincentive to the market, but we know that some of these banking names, right, they come with a very good dividend payment. If you look at some of them, their half-year dividend payment, we saw a significant improvement in their half-year dividend payment. So we are expecting them to actually up their games in terms of final dividend payment. So because the prices are already elevated, and we are expecting that the yield, right, the dividend yield should be very impressive, right, if we don't want to see the stock price being depressed. So we're expecting a very good dividend from especially the tier 1 banks.
All right, Richard Akumoladu, equity trader with CSL Stockbrokers. Thank you so much for giving us a view of what's going on in the markets at this time.
Thank you for having me.
Now let's see what's happening in the Middle East. We see mostly negative, I believe. Dubai closed at 0.90%. We know it's closed at this time because of the time difference, as well as Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is on the flip side, 0.12% at 9,560.89. The Tadawul, Saudi Arabia, closed higher after on gains of agriculture. And you know, when I was reading this, it actually caught my attention. So you have stocks from the agriculture and food, real estate development. We know we have telecoms and IT or ICT is also moving here in Nigeria. But you know, it's a challenge for the Nigerian exchange to diversify. So after banking, oil and gas, it does seem, you know, that you don't have a lot of movement or strength in the market. So I mean, it would be nice to have some companies, equities and food and agriculture and all of that. But that's it. And for that, but for other parts, we have, of course, the Tadawul. Tadawul is in the red, 0.12%. That's Saudi Arabia. And then Qatar is on the flip side, 0.05% at the close of trade. Let's move over to Asia and see what's happening in Asia. We see Japan and Australian stocks rose, of course, connected to Wall Street. And I know Ladi did have a conversation on the Fed and the expected decision from them. Nikkei is up 1.02%. I think mostly is expected to be a whole decision just to bring some kind of stability into the market. So we see for Japan, it's 1.02%. The Kospi is also looking green at 0.85%. Hang Seng is 0.14%, 20,225.11. That's it. And then minutes from the Bank of Japan's December meeting released shows that members discuss neutral interest rates. Seems that's it now, just to try and get some stability. Shanghai is 0.05 in the red, and Nifty of India is 0.90. Ladi, I wonder if my time is exhausted. I see some signals from you right there.
US. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we still have United States. No, I thought you had to jump out of there. Okay. So we have the United States. Yes, with our big President Trump, still his big stick is still right there. We see Dow Jones in the red, S&P in the green, Nasdaq also in the green. The fight around deep state is not over yet. I can tell you that Nvidia is still down. I think it recovered a bit yesterday, but for today it is down. It's reduced, but. We do have Maria, to tell us a little bit about what happened yesterday. Oh, you see, I said it. I knew that Ladi was giving me some signals. Ladi was giving me some signals.
AI fight. At this point, I'm sure investors are just watching what's going to happen next with investigations by Microsoft.
Yeah, and investors are not loyal. They're only loyal to profit.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if China does it, let's look the way of
see.
China.
And maybe some more overreactions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Amy, for giving us the details of what's playing out with most of the markets that we track. But that's